Okay, so my name is Rosario Di Lorenzo. I'm in charge of the AnalyticsCreator Global Partner Organization, and during the past 15 years, loved really helping a partner around the world to write the success story. This is my passion. Um, so today we have an interesting topic, and of course, I'm not doing it alone. Today I have Tobias from BI Automation with me, who will give you a short demonstration of the tool, and Heimo from ESG for CFO, who will comment the demo and provide some insight from the methodology point of view. Welcome, Tobias. Welcome, Heimo. AnalyticsCreator is a German company based in Munich, founded in 2017. However, the software is much older. You have to know that currently we are in the third generation and are proud that we had the chance to evangelize the data automation practice during the past 15 years. So currently we have more than 50 value-added partners with a strong emphasis on Microsoft, of course, because the technology is built on the Microsoft stack. And we have in the meantime kind of 690 active data engineers and developers, our customer, if you want, who not only enjoy using AnalyticsCreator, but take pride in recommending AnalyticsCreator to others. You have to know this is the way we were growing in the past. We are mainly focused in Europe and APAC, and with our partner ecosystems, love talking about the solution that enables developers to create, simplify, and automate data modeling faster than any traditional manual methods. So we have a clear mission here at AnalyticsCreator, and we want to help developers to reduce on the repetitive tasks and the usage of the huge amount of software required to build a data warehouse. And you know what, this challenge, they have this challenge really every day. So we are really talking about this guy. They always have to kind of connect the data or some systems outside by using some tools, making sure that all these accounts get regulated, connected, so that finally the outcome is, that a report or something like that, a dashboard can be created. So while the industry, through different software stacks, platform, or a combination of those three to support their job and challenges, we see all these technologies not necessarily decreasing the workload of those data engineers, and not really increasing the ability to respond fast to business requests. So moreover, what we see here, the risk to move into a lock-in situation was never so high as it is today. And through big and great marketing activities from those big players, we really get influenced. So we believe using technologies that simplify and automate the modeling of analytics platform is the optimal solution for developers, and for companies, the best way to regain control of their data and finally to reduce operational cost. So we created AnalyticsCreator. With AnalyticsCreator, a high adaptable solution, we do not only focus on restoring engineering freedom, but also on making the SQL code free from any runtime dependency. So we feel to be the leader in this domain. If you want to believe Bark Research, who always scan the industries and ask real customers, what they think about a vendor. And we are very proud that we will see later a report where it tells more about us. But let me now show in a nutshell a bit the architecture of AnalyticsCreator. It's it's really start here with the source, right? We connect the source, it lands in our data catalog that consider all dependencies, etc. And the grade actually from AnalyticsCreator is really lie, among other things, really in the wizard. Here once you connect and once you start just a single button where you started the wizard behind, you get created a data warehouse, a draft of a data warehouse instantaneously. So within 2-3 minutes, if you want, you have an entire data warehouse with all the stages connected, and historization is even activated, the source, the import, everything is there, so that you finally just have to look into it, into each stage, and start making your transformation. So easy is that. And once you're done, you start then deploying, right? Deploying in whatever technology you want, so that it can be evolve, right? It is about to orchestrate your ETL processes. It's because you want to use using other methodologies, technologies, Power BI dataset, tabular model, we mentioned some. And of course, whatever you do, it gets stored somewhere. It is mostly on SQL, your system, or maybe Azure, whatever. And finally, you can visualize the data. We support all possible visualization tools. So you see some. And we also have a strong export tool in case you want to move your data warehouse in another environment. This is also possible. Whatever you do, the project you create, it gets created in a so-called open data repository. And this is really great because a partner that, let's say, or AnalyticsCreator might help you, customer, if you have an issue, right? I mean, very important is what we connect is metadata. This is something that I would like to emphasize, underline. So we do not see your data. This is really about metadata around. And this is really about modeling. This is where we care. And we want to help customer instantaneously. So if they have a problem in modeling the data, it is really the best way to do is instead to write emails or a screenshot, etc. We love, or our partner loves to maybe log into the place where you have the metadata, your data model, and help with a solution, right? So behind all that, there is an AnalyticsCreator automation engine, so which means whatever you do, a code gets automatically created, a documentation, a data lineage, and there are some more tools that helps you to create the magic in a very short time. So let me show you how it really looks like. So on the left side, you can see the most important elements needed to build your data warehouse. And on the right side, you will find the result of your effort. So, creating such a model is very easy. Let me activate my pointer. You simply connect a source. Where is my pointer? So here. Yeah, so you just click there, you connect your source, and once this is connected, and we connect, as we learned from the graph before, and you consider all the dependency in it, etc. Only one thing, once this is connected, is really to click on this magic button, Data Warehouse Wizard. Once we do that, in less than 2-3 minutes, dependently, how big is the source you want to connect. But 2-3 minutes, you really get everything built in the way, you see actually the source, right? And it's the dependencies. And then now a data expert just needs to go in the stage where you want a change, and you simply do it. It's just a one layer, and you have everything needed. You see everything in it, everything needed to make a transformation. So easy is to make a transformation, or so easy is to use AnalyticsCreator. So intention is really here to boost the efficiency of an organization, right? So when with AnalyticsCreator, we do not only not only boost the engineering efficiency, but we also improve the total cost of ownership of our customers. So here, so I don't need a pointer anymore. So let's move forward. Yeah, when we meet a customer, we often see them fighting with these challenges. They are overwhelmed by business requests, mostly delayed by slow manual activities such as coding and documentation, and consequently, the teams are under pressure, a condition that creates other issues like staff turnover. This is, I think, one of the biggest problem. The problem is by hiring a new data expert, which, by the way, you do not find easily in the market. It does not really fix the problem. So a company face data qualities issues. The whole data management is not transparent, and the data warehouse project struggle to reach completion. As a data warehouse, it's always in transformation mode, but you never see really an end, because there is nothing there visualizing the complexity. So by using a data warehouse automation tool like AnalyticsCreator, we observe not only the resolution of these issues, but we also see companies regaining control of their data, and this finally secure their investment. Just because we talk about investment, it's important to note that the code created with AnalyticsCreator has no runtime in it. So this is really this part. Super proud to say that. This means even if a company wishes to stop their subscription and choose for some reason to manage their data manually again, for some reason, the existing code will continue to work also without AnalyticsCreator. And we are very proud to say that, because we believe it should be the customer controlling the destiny of their data, not a vendor. So yeah, well, customer, of course, realized that not only the TCO is improved, which is very important, but the entire analytics team gains much more time and efficiency to focus on what matters most for the business. So I was saying we are super proud, to somehow lead the domain. I mean, why we can say that is because, every year, you have to know, BARC, a leading analyst company specializing in the data analytics and enterprise software, asks customers of each vendor to share their experience with them, and in a really organized way. So there are a huge amount of KPIs, and they ask, right? And we are extremely proud to show the result of, and this is quite impressive. Really remarkable if you consider that this is the 5th consecutive year where we were ranked higher than others. So I can't show, or I don't want to show you because it takes too much time, all the where we were ranked, but I was abstracting something for you. And if you look into all these KPIs, I mean, you see us, the competitors, where we are, but I really like to emphasize on the serve self-learning. It's always important, when you decide to use an automation tool, the first question of our customer is how much it is needed. So, how fast am I enabled so that I can use this tool? And with AnalyticsCreator, it's really super fast. When you are a data expert or even, junior, in our experience, 2-3 weeks, you are ready, and you can start modeling your data warehouse. Product enhancement. This is also something, it's so easy. As a data engineer, you have know-how, right? And you do not want to put yourself, or you don't want the software telling you this is now the way to work. So you want still use your knowledge, and as you did before, right? You just want a tool helping to be simply faster. This is what AnalyticsCreator do. And operational, this deployment and operations and functionalities is also something I like to talk really about. It is always about, we do not like to jump into the battle, how many functionalities we have and that the others have. It is sometimes how all these functionalities work together. And this is also something I want to find. Yes, sales experience, very easy, customer understand, very fast, the value and the why you decide for AnalyticsCreator, probably because no runtime in it, right? The customer feel they are buying something where they are free and decide any time about the data destiny and not the vendors, right? So where you need, again, a huge investment to make a change to another tool maybe. So, just want to show you some of customers that really trust us. These are customers, I think they are around 4 or 5 years with us. And yeah, really proud to mention some big names. Great. So now I believe it's really demo time. Enough talked, and we will see those two guys, Robert and Heimo. They have 3-4 slides, I think, just to check the method. It is always not about a tool, but also methods you might need and think about when you want to master your data analytics, data management in your company. Well, Robert and Heimo, the stage is yours.
To show you what are the challenges if you start a new project. And you all know in normal IT projects, maybe in former times, the waterfall approach was the most common and most used approach for developing IT. Some of you, and maybe all of you, have already seen it does not work in a VUCA world. What's necessary in a VUCA world? More agility, clarity, understanding of what to be delivered, what are the requests, and maybe you have to start with a vision. What do you want to achieve at the end of your project? So the focus is really to be flexible and to support a step-by-step approach. This is mainly known under the Agile, Scrum, or Kanban method. And when I have seen your names, I would assume most of you already have already knowledge about that. What's necessary? You divide the whole development in several sprints, and you can decide what are the most highest priorities to start with. And I will show you in the next slide what do you do within these 2 weeks? And all of that is perfectly supported with the approach using AnalyticsCreator. As example, this was the project method. The next method is what's the best recommendation for developing a data warehouse or data mate? It's the CRISP-DM method. At the beginning, and I said already in the VUCA world, the U stands also for understanding. And the first challenge is that the business and the IT experts, that they get the same language. At the end, they need to understand from both sides what are the data needed, for what question should be answered with the data. The next step would be that you have to look where is the data spread in the whole IT architecture. We have seen the slide of Rosario, and in most companies it is like he has shown it. So it's clear that the data is spread all over the world, maybe if you're a bigger company, at least in several different sources. And one of the most interesting part, in my opinion, because I am more of the functional part of the project, not the IT part, is the modeling. How can you support how the data is connected at the end, that you are very flexible to get different insights in the huge amount of data? If you have run these 4 steps, the next is it has to be evaluated. And these all will happen in different sprints. I will show it on the next slide. In the evaluation, you have to decide, is the result already okay? It's great. So you can move on. If not, go back, like in many other games, start it again. Maybe there was some misunderstanding already in the starting period, but you find it out at least after 2 or 3 weeks. So you don't lose time if you are using this method. If everything is okay, the deployment will help you to run already the first part, the first maybe MVP, which is created. You have already a result after the first, for example, 3 sprints most of the time in these projects. So at the end, if you combine the method and the system in 3 different sprints, you are already in the position to show the results to the business, and they can already work with the results. So it's really a very fast, and we have seen it was up to 30% less effort to get the results you are trying to approach. So this is the main part. If you combine the technology with the project approach and the data warehouse method of CRISP-DM. And now we will have different roles in the demo, and I will introduce how is the setup. My role is a product owner, is a Scrum Master and a customer, so something to do in the next 10 minutes. Tobias, he's the main part of the demo for sure, because he will then show how easy it is that he can use AnalyticsCreator for the requirements we will discuss. We start at the point where the first sprint is already finished, and we will start with the first of all result of the first sprint, and we will start with the dashboard. And then I will have a look to the dashboard, and I will ask a question. You will see what then will happen in the second sprint, because then Tobias will show live how easy it is to get a new source, to get a new CSV file integrated in the whole data model in all different layers. And he always will explain what are the different layers supported by AnalyticsCreator, what we already have seen in the demonstration of Rosario as well. And at the end, you will see the new dashboard very fast. We will see new information gathered from a new source. So I'd like to hand over now to Tobias.
Going to be funny. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so is my screen visible?
Yes.
Very good. So to start with, we have prepared a very simple sales dashboard. As you can see, there's some very basic statistics on here. At the top, you can see some total number of sales, total profit, stuff like that. Over here, you would be able to select the time period. So this is changeable. So numbers change if you change this time period, obviously. And then down here we have a couple of statistics. So for example, over here we can filter by product category. Obviously, if we click on the specific categories as Power BI works, the other graphs will also adjust. Yeah, and so this is a very, very basic example of how a sales dashboard could look like. So I now want to show you how...
Oh, wait a moment, Tobias, because this is always, at the end, it's easy to show how a dashboard is looking like. Behind that, you have to answer a lot of questions. For example, what dimensions are necessary? What do you really want to show in the dashboard? And so on. And this is the modeling I have already explained. So before you get this result, this is the framework where the different experienced people work together to get the right model, and then you can implement it really easily. But when I see now, or when I have a look to this dashboard, I'm missing something. Are there already shown the returns?
Yes, so the items that were returned were not intended to be shown in the first data model, but this is a very easy thing to fix since we have all of the returns prepared in a CSV file. So I now want to show you in AnalyticsCreator what this looks like.
Perfect, Tobias.
So if we look at AnalyticsCreator, at first sight, you can see the data warehouse visualized, and you can see all the different layers that we were talking about earlier. Now I want you to keep in mind, these are the default layers that are created. It is obviously also possible to create another layer, or maybe one layer less, if that's what your solution needs. So
let me come in here again. I'm not the technical expert. When I was starting my work 7 years ago at PM1, for me it was also a new world. What is necessary to get a structured model, to get really the results you need at the end? I was the guy defining the request, and the IT guys had to develop it. And maybe you can talk shortly about the different layers. What happens in the first, second, and third layer? What's necessary that at the end you really have a flexible data model where the user does not need to know what has happened before. At the end, he has those informations he needs to be used in his dashboard.
Okay, so I would like to start at the sources all the way on the left. So this is technically not a layer of the data warehouse itself yet. It's just the sources that are coming from our data source, or the different tables that are coming from our data source. As you can see, it's in this case a very small and simplified version. Then in the next layer, in the staging layer right here, you can see there's these import settings over here. So this is where the data first gets imported from the data source itself. If I were to open this, AnalyticsCreator also shows a couple of, a lot of different options. For example, you can set filters and stuff like that, but I'm not going to go into detail here. Then moving on to the next layer is the persisted staging layer. So this is where historization happens. So this is a very, very core part of why you're using a data warehouse in the first place. What historization does basically is it's looking at the data that's already there and looking at changes that are made from the new data coming in. And basically, if you then look in the report, you can then go back in time and look at how the data changed over time, and you can basically time travel back into the past, which is a really cool feature. And then we go into the core layer, which is where most of the modeling is done, where the data is getting prepared. As you can see, the data is getting joined together here in this facts transformation. And in this data mart layer is then the one that's getting used to actually build the analytics platform and visualize the resulting report and the resulting dashboard. Right. So we wanted to implement our returns CSV. So over here on the left, you can see this folder structure, and on the top it says connectors. If I look in here, we already have the SQL connector, which is responsible for connecting to the data source. But now we have a different data source. We have a CSV file, so I'm going to add another connector. And let's call it CSV connector. I'm going to change the connector type. Now AnalyticsCreator supports, I always forget the exact number. I think it's over 250 different connector types. So this is really a cool feature, because the connectors can simply be added, and it's not a big deal to join data sources together. Okay, so now you can see the CSV connector has been added, and I can then create a new source, which will be the file, the actual CSV file. So this always, here are also always very, like, a lot of different options showing up, but the one relevant to us is the path right here, which is going to set. We have a returns CSV file right here. Going to click open, and now down here we have this little powerful button that says get CSV structure, which automatically gets the structure of the CSV file. As you can see, it's very simple. The only relevant column in here is the order ID, since the returned column always says yes. So any order ID that this CSV file contains is counted as returned. So I'm gonna click save. And now the big question is, how do I get this source into my data warehouse? And so for that, I'm going to open the data warehouse wizard, and I'm going to select my new CSV connector over here. You can then select the table that I created. And in this case, I don't want the returns to be an additional dimension or fact. I just want to join it into the existing ones. So I'm not going to select a dimension or fact. So I'm just going to import it like this, and I'm going to click finish. And as you can see, AnalyticsCreator has automatically added the source to the data warehouse. It's automatically added the import table into the staging layer. It's automatically added the historization part in the persisted staging layer. All of that is already taken care of. If you ask any data warehouse developer, this is usually, even if it's as simple as a CSV file, quite a long process. And now all that's left to do is join this returns table into my fact. And so in order to do that, I'm going to click into the facts. Now there's a lot of different options here. The important ones is we have all of the columns that the facts contain over here, and we have all of the tables that are used down here. And so I'm going to add a table, the returns table that we've just created. And now that the returns table is added here, I have to tell it how the returns table is joined together. Now this is a very simple SQL join statement. Like this. And then I can add the necessary column over here. So in this case, I'm just going to take this returned, and I obviously only want this to either be a returned or not returned, so just a true or false. So I'm going to convert this into the correct data type, and I can do this in this statement column over here. So this will be bird. So what this does basically is just if there's a returned value there, then it's counted as returned, and if it's not there, then it's not counted as returned. I'm going to hit save. And now if I go back and I synchronize the data warehouse, what you will see is that it's been automatically connected to this facts table, and we can also look at the structure in this last data mod layer. And again, you can see the columns down here, and you can see returned has been added as a bit value. Right, so now the development part is already done, actually. So now all that's left to do is deploy our final solution. And this is also really simple because we've already had a deployment before. So if I go into deployment and go into deployment packages, there's already a deployment package created. So I don't even need to really worry about the settings, since we already have our deployment package. The only thing is that we've added a new connector. So for this connector there, if you look at the top right of the screen, there's two new SSIS packages that were created, which need to be selected. And all that's left to do otherwise is just to hit deploy, and the AnalyticsCreator will do its magic. Now, in the meantime, since the deployment always takes a minute, I'm just going to briefly go over some options, because this view is always very overwhelming when you see it for the first time. So at the top left, there's the deployment options for the data warehouse itself, so for the database, which contains basic things like server name and database name, stuff like this. But what's really important here is that there's an allowed data loss checkmark, which is not selected. So since this checkmark is not selected, if the deployment would cause, if any change I made in the deployment would cause data loss in the existing database, the deployment would be interrupted. So this is a really, really important feature. And then here, bottom left, we have the SSIS settings, which is very simple, since it's basically a compatibility level and whether I want to deploy it or not. But it's also connected to the top right, which I've already mentioned, where we have to select the individual packages. So it's also possible to only deploy some of the SSIS configuration if we want to make a separate versions of ETL processes, for example. Yeah, and then bottom right down here we have a simple tabular options for our tabular model, since the report is going to be based on a tabular model, which also contains simply server name, database name, and a login. Yeah, so now the deployment should be finished any moment now. And then we will be able to load the data and look at the result. So the deployments are saved in this directory that's set over here, which the AnalyticsCreator also remembers. Now you can see the deployment is done, so I'm going to open the directory. I have this right here. So this is our newest deployment folder, and you can see that AnalyticsCreator has created a simple Visual Studio development project, which you could also use to keep developing without AnalyticsCreator if you want. This is what Rosario mentioned earlier. However, if you're actually using AnalyticsCreator most of the time, this is not something that you would do, since it's way simpler. All right. So all that's left to do in here is to look at the workflow package. We don't have to actually do anything here. We just have to tell it to execute. So I'm going to say right click and execute package. Okay, and down here you can see package execution completed with success. So now I'm going to open my dashboard, and we will see the changes that were made. Yeah, it's opening, it's just happening on another screen right here. Right. And now,
Hey.
as you can see,
Great. We're looking already in a new dashboard with some red marked silos. Are these the returns?
exactly, and also the numbers over on the top here have also been adjusted by the returns.
Great. And that,
Right, so
that is what I have said, why I'm interested also using AnalyticsCreator for ESG data. You have seen how easy it is to get a new Xlore CSV file integrated in the dashboard. All what I see now at the moment in the companies, all of the companies are gathering their new ESG data via Excel. But at the end, they have to integrate it in a single source of truth, because it has to be reported and it has to be secure, that the whole data collection process and the integration of the data is really reliable. And that's what really makes it easy to get out of different CSV files or other sources, because for sure you need also some financial information, and you will one of the sources will be your ERP and so on. You can use all different sources to get also a dashboard for sustainability. So it's a really great use case, and what we have seen now, I'd like to summarize in my next slide. Please feel free to post your questions in the chat. We will discuss after my next slide. Let me share my screen again. You should see my screen. So what have we shown? The automation process, how AnalyticsCreator is generating the code. We haven't seen really, but we have seen the processing, and we have seen that all results are really accessible by the normal features you're using as a data warehouse developer. So really great how many power is behind the functionality of AnalyticsCreator. What we else have seen is that you can secure the data governance. At the end, you have joined the right tables. You have also some quality processes. Is the data valid for the things you want to show? So the whole process is documented and helps that at the end the data quality will increase. For sure, you cannot get it automatically. There is a process in the organization needed. Somebody has to be responsible for the data, because that was this delivered is used. That's clear. We have seen a scalable architecture already. Rosario has shown some slides to that topic, and you can use new information, new sources. You can enlarge the whole model, so no limits in the architecture of the data warehouse. The continuous improvement is maybe one of the most important things. What I have seen during my jobs in a bank every year the things are changing very dramatically sometimes, especially for planning. You need new information you haven't used last year, but now you have to get a deeper insight, for example, in the topic of liquidity and so on. So every year a new big topic, a new great workload to prepare the data for your planning process. All that is very well supported by using AnalyticsCreator. And what do we have demonstrated, or Tobias have demonstrated? You have seen the agile development. This is supported very well with AnalyticsCreator. We have shown within 10 minutes, it really was 10 minutes, we have calculated quite good. Tobias, you have done a great job. We have integrated a new data source. We have shown where the data historization is done in one layer. We have shown the dashboard and the customization with Power BI, for example, to use then different colors for returns. And at the end, the whole process, and this is the title of our webinar today, the whole process we have shown has to be standardized, and with automation, this is possible. If you have several developer, they all can use AnalyticsCreator. At the end, the codes are comparable. They are not specific to the human beings, as it is normally if you start a bigger project with different developers. So for sure, using AnalyticsCreator is de-risking the whole development of the data warehouse. This is maybe the key message we give after the short presentation Tobias has shown. And I'd like to hand over now to the Q&A session.